In the early 1990s, my parents were in northern Mexico, and we come from a line of pastors. My parents had this vision that the Lord was calling them to the United States. My father, right as we moved to Texas, one of the only jobs that was available, and actually that's what he worked all of his life, he was a custodian at the local school district. My dad really worked to fund the ministry. He worked to see his family, be well educated and equipped and cared for and loved and put a shelter over our heads. We, for a long time, have met just in homes, in living room spaces, in backyards. And so they saw a need that the church needed a space. One day, my dad was driving through the neighborhood here. He saw this building that had no doors, no windows. It was abandoned for over 20 years. But something within him, in his conversation with the Lord, he got confirmation that this was going to be the future home of the church here. They actually wanted $140,000 to purchase the property, and they wanted it in cash. They wanted one payment. Well, think about a small church here in South Texas, right on the Mexico and US border. We're a small church. Trying to fundraise or come up with a payment of $140,000 was something just incredible, so massive. So he started praying. We started a fundraiser. We raised about $60,000. Then my father tapped into a retirement fund and made that 60 go up to 80,000. And so when the time came for the negotiation, my parents showed up with a check for $80,000. And they said, "This is what we have." And he said to my parents, "Here you go. Go build your church. The property is yours." For $80,000. The building at that point, it had holes in the roof and leaking water. You couldn't really see any vision or a future for it. But my dad did. In March of 2021, and a few weeks into that, the third weekend after they had actually started renovating and start patching up specifically the roof, the unfortunate happened. My father was on the roof and he misstepped, and unfortunately the roof under him caved in and he fell and he lost his life. I think it's normal in our humanity to think like, well, what now? But one of the things about the gospel is that there is hope, that there is victory over death. And that's exactly what my mom encouraged us, believing God, trusting in Him, not losing faith. In the aftermath of my dad's passing, one of my biggest worries was provision. How are we going to do the unthinkable? How are we going to fund a large building? How are we going to turn this place that's old and ruggedy and filthy into something that is worthwhile? God has showed up in just miraculous ways. So one day I get an email and the address says Lakewood Church. And I couldn't believe it. I decided to call the number. And Joyce from the missions department picks up the phone. And that Lakewood Church wants to support this project, and they want to come alongside, and they want to journey with us, and they want to send people, and they want to provide some material for the walls to go up.
We came across a church called Cristo Vive, and we're just amazed with the story. And we started bringing teams of men to the church. We framed out the church, we put up the sheetrock, and it's just amazing today to see it completed, and we're able to launch this church to be able to impact people in this community.
Close to 1,500 different individuals that have somehow touched this project, whether it's by prayer, whether it's by giving, whether it's by being physically here and helping us in the renovation process. And so this weekend we're excited because we get to celebrate. We have a grand opening service where we just want to be in gratitude, in this posture to thank the Lord for everything that He has done. I think my dad would be so proud to see this building and the full renovation now completed. I cannot wait to see what the Lord will do. Yes, we went through tragedy, but we're not defined by tragedy. We're defined by the hope of the gospel. This project and this church building is a testament of how the Lord is bringing ruins back to life.
Amen. Amen. Come on. Hey.